Here I am sitting again on the floor of the space in my basement. Under my breath I'm reciting the prayer. I keep on praying. Deja vu, me and you. Yeah. On my knees, yeah, it's true. God, can't you see in the middle of me, in between I am breaking? How can I get you to change your mind? That's all I'm saying. Deja vu, begging you. Yeah. I forget sometimes. You say yes, you say no. For my best, God, you know better than me. Better than me. You say yes, you say no.
All right, we're talking about when it's absolutely necessary to climb a tree to be able to accurately assess the situation. So this one, we're going to be removing this very large spruce branch, and if you know about spruces, they're very heavy. Now the picture's not going to do it justice, but this limb sticks out over a codominant central leader attached to it and hangs over this very nice shed. Anyway, so what happens is this from the ground, you can't see that it is completely split. There's a decent fracture that's moving, and we have a lateral fracture here, which means because of its weight distribution of the foliage, it's probably been moving a lot in the wind, and we've got some lateral cracking, so it's very unsafe. You can see how deep that fracture is. We also, before we bit it, didn't see that there's a relatively large stress fracture in the major limb too. So alleviating the weight here will also alleviate the weight from this major stem, the codominant central leader, and I'm going to put up a cabling system across here to protect it from falling in the future. And it still could fall, but what's going to happen is it's going to be supported by the cabling and hopefully not do too much structural damage. That's what we're going. Sometimes it's important to climb a tree even, you know, hopefully it doesn't take you very long, just to estimate. So keep that in mind. And also don't be afraid to tell your customers, hey, we ran into something we didn't see. It's not what we thought it was going to be. We're going to have to charge more. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like if an electrician is tearing into a wall and finds out the whole house is wired wrong. You're going to have to fix it before you can do any other work. So we're going to have to fix this. We're going to get on it right now. And the solution to the problem is, originally, I was going to set up a block here, and we were going to take this limb out nice and gentle with a tag line and just allow it to fall nice and slow and smooth away. But now I'm going to set up an additional block up here to support going through this block and then down to a porter wrap to give us an additional amount of support, and it's going to make it to where there's less dynamic loading onto the limb that we're removing, from the limb we're removing to the limb that's going to stay. All right, so I'm glad we didn't record it because there was a little bit of an issue. Because of the lateral fracturing, which we pointed out earlier, instead of this splitting like most spruce trees, it's split down way further than normal. And even with the protection cut already in place, it wasn't enough. It would have had to have been more than halfway, which would have been too dangerous. So we did tear into material that we did not wish to tear into. So there's an issue there, but I'm not dead, which is great. And just winged it a little bit without any damage. And he's already cut the bottom of the branch off. Branch is comfortably 25 feet, I would say. Pretty easily 25 feet. We're just gonna manage and lower this bad boy down, hopefully not destroy the fence, and we'll check in a little bit. All right, so after the cut, you can see there's still a little pocket there, and that's a bigger cut than we would normally want for facilitating healing, but you got to do what you got to do. So the issue here will be, if this was a different type of tree, leaving a little place where water could potentially infiltrate would be a bad idea, but here it's not going to matter. These trees are so full of resin and they compartmentalize so well. I'm not concerned. We've got the weight off of this branch, so I'm not worried about it falling as much, and we'll be putting that cabling system in, the Cobra system, so it should work out just fine. But that's the finished product right there. It's a little bit close top, and it doesn't give it much of a collar, but just because of where it was broken, you can see some of the residual edges of the fracturing where all that sap is leaking out right there, and that was how far down it had fractured. And I literally cut into the top maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and the whole thing fell. And that shows you how bad of a fracture it already had in it.
Here I am sitting again on the floor of the space in my basement. Under my breath I'm reciting the prayer. I keep on praying. Deja vu, me and you. Yeah. On my knees, yeah, it's true. God, can't you see in the middle of me, in between I am breaking? How can I get you to change your mind? That's all I'm saying. Deja vu, begging you. Yeah. I forget sometimes. You say yes, you say no. For my best, God, you know better than me. Better than me. You say yes, you say no. For my best, God, you know better than me. Better than me. What I want and what I really need, only you know the difference. Learning you do what's best for me, with every answer given. Deja vu, it's what you do. Yeah. You're showing me in time. You say yes, you say no. For my best, God, you know better than me. Better than me. You say no. For my best, God, you know better than me. Better than me. Giving me what I really need to make me more like you. Less like me. Less like me. Yeah. Less like me, less like me. I forget sometimes. Oh, you say yes, you say no. For my best, God, you know better than me. Better than me. Oh, you say yes, you say no.
Alright, so I just came down and you can see where we've connected. Now, only one issue here is my shock absorber is definitely a little close to one side and really should be in the very middle if possible, but that's not going to make a difference. It's not going to interfere with the rope, and you can see I left a little extra tail there, and that's just in case it needs to be moved. You could still use the same device, because if you go a little higher up, it's going to have to be a little bit longer. But we're well over 2/3 to the top of the crown, and we're at a strong enough point where it can support the weight, and this should have no issues. But it's definitely, and you can also see we have a little bit of a bow in the rope. Just a little bit is important. We want the tree to move as the wind blows and be able to support that reaction wood, and it'll actually make this tree stronger. So that's that. All done, no damage, and super stoked. Check in next time.